In 1995, Jamaica was going through so much, and I just felt like this could be an antidote to that. I come home and start to share this message. And of course, it was way ahead of its time. They're like, yogurt,
I
yoga,
can't.
or I got the opposite, like, because we're a very peaceful society, I got the opposite,
Right.
like devil business.
Got you. Okay.
I had to work through a lot of education.
Yeah. Culturally. Yeah.
That yoga is not a religion,
Right. Right.
science actually of health and happiness. That's
Mm.
how I define yoga. If you practice yoga,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be more healthy and you'll definitely be more happy. Because when
Mm.
you're in that flow state, things are better.
Yeah.
You're connected. You have intuition that's coming through, or divine downloads. Your heart is more open. So they're just
Yeah.
incredible benefits.
I love that.
What is on your mind? Make we have a time. Hey, yeah.
If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please remember to leave a rating and review. And if you're listening or watching on YouTube, remember to like, comment, and share this episode. Now grab your tea, coffee, or a glass of wine, and let's talk the things. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Talk the Things, where we discuss personal growth, music, travel, and wellness while encouraging you to live fearlessly and fabulously. This week, we are talking to things with a woman who is a rare combination of sage, storyteller, and practitioner. Someone who has spent several years guiding persons towards strength, balance, and wholehearted living through yoga, mindfulness, and radiant wellness. Master yoga and meditation instructor, wellness expert, author, retreat leader, and longevity advocate, Sharon Feanny. Hi, Sharon. How are you?
What a lot of titles.
I
Thank you.
know. Listen, I almost ran out of breath, but that's a good problem to have.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. It's such an honor to have you. And so, before we get started, we like to do a fun little icebreaker, right? And it sounds scarier than it is. But we begin each episode with our listeners' favorite segment, and it's called Dat Na Sound Safe. So basically what it is, it's a really fun game where I'm basically just going to read messages or social media posts that listeners sent in. Then if
Yeah.
you think it sounds a little crazy or you don't really agree with it, you can say, Ash, that not sound safe, and explain why.
Okay.
And if you agree, you just say you agree and we just kind of talk through it. All right?
Okay.
All
Beautiful.
right, perfect. So the first person said, you can force yourself to leave toxic people, but if you don't heal what attracted you to them, you will meet them again, just in a different person.
That sounds about right.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
Yes.
I think that sometimes we can, especially like if you're just a genuinely kind person, you have this ability to empathize like too much. So you
Yeah.
might say like, oh, they're having a bad day or, something just happened to them. And obviously everybody has a bad day. And I'm sure that's something you work through with your clients, like mindfulness and trying to figure out what's going on inside of you so that you don't take it out on someone else. But I think, like what this person's saying, it's important to really reconcile that. You know what I mean? Like, if that is something going on with you, so that you don't then have that issue with other persons.
Absolutely. In yoga, we call it a samskara, where you're constantly
Oh,
repeating and
hmm,
have a habit that's no longer serving you. So you're constantly having people that,
okay.
don't honor your boundaries, you're letting them in, and then you just keep repeating the cycle. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a
Very
real,
interesting. And
yes.
what do you say for, because I find that that's really an issue, like in our culture. And I think just as Caribbean women, we're taught to just, if that's your family or your mom or your sister, like how would you recommend somebody deals with that, like establishing those boundaries?
Yeah, it's not an easy thing because, as Caribbean people, we are loving, we're generous with our time and our energy, and we're
Yeah.
usually very open hearted. So,
Yes.
really, it starts with self love and being able to protect your boundaries,
I love that.
honor your boundaries. Like, this is my time now. And so that when you are going to be with that person, you are going to engage, you're fully present with them
Mm-hmm.
instead of trying to do both things all the time. We're people
Mm,
really not serving ourselves or the other person because we're not fully present.
yeah.
Because when we're with them, we're thinking, oh my God, why did I do this? I have so much to do. Why did I say yes?
Yes.
Really coming to know yourself
Mm,
is so important, and to love yourself and to really create space around your time where you have filled your cup so that
yes.
you're able to fill everybody else's cup.
I love that. Beautifully said. And I remember seeing, I think it was on Oprah, Ianla Van Zant. She said that, filling your cup, as you just said, is self full. It's not selfish. And a lot
Right.
of times we've been brought up to think like, oh, well, they're depending on me. And, if you promise someone something, that's one thing, but you definitely have to make sure it's not overwhelming you, because
Exactly.
then you're not going to be like the best person you can be to that person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Absolutely agree with that. Okay. A couple more. The next person said, I don't ever want to go through another stage in my life where I'm telling someone how they should treat me.
That not sound safe.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's important that you tell somebody that you love how you want to be treated.
Mm, I
Everybody
agree.
has a different love language, right? Some people want
Yes.
touch, some people want more gifts, some people want more acknowledgement.
Hmm.
You love somebody, you need to say, this is how I like to be loved. This is how I
I
want to be treated.
I agree.
And
100%.
if you're not getting it, then at least you have said the truth and you've made the claim, and you can choose then to be out or to stay.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think there's this rhetoric that's going around, especially on social media, I find amongst women, like, you shouldn't have to tell your partner, you shouldn't have to tell your friends what you need. And the reality is you do. Now, here's the thing, here's a caveat. If you do express these feelings or these emotions and then they're still not regarded, then that is a point where you see that that person is just not capable of, loving you or being there for you in the way that you need. And then that's your decision. But people aren't mind readers, as you said, so they can't know what you need?
Exactly. I
Yeah.
always say to my husband, I'm yogic, not psychic. Like he
Hey, I
I
love
can read his mind. So I'm like, I'm not psychic. Like, just let me tell you this is what's happening, and
right.
on our agreements. Yes.
I love that. You might need to brand that. That's
Yeah,
pretty
no,
creative.
good t-shirt.
All right. The next person said, I am a firm believer in not answering my phone if I don't have the capacity or energy to talk, and it doesn't matter who it is.
Hmm. That's a tough one.
Yeah, that one is kind of in the
That's a
middle
tough
for
one.
me.
That's in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm always going to pick up the phone if it's my kids, you
Yeah.
know. I'm
Family.
always pick up the
Yes.
phone with family, but I get it. I get setting boundaries with the phone, and so I've come up with something where
Mhm.
every night at 8 o'clock my phone is turned off. The phone is
Mm.
put down, it's put away, it's on charge,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I try. Most times
Yeah.
I'm successful, but I really just put it aside and I don't look at the clock after the phone after 8. And that
Mhm.
has been a game changer for my sleep, for my sanity, for everything.
Yeah. See, I get it too. Like that actually sounds great. I need to try that. But at the same time, if it's family, I don't have kids, but like my parents, siblings, like I can't just have my phone on do not disturb or turn it off because I'm always thinking, what if something happens? What if they need me? But I do also get that other side of just like preventing yourself from maybe mindless scrolling, or you might have a friend that is going to call you late at night with some drama and then you're going to go to bed with anxiety. Stuff like
Exactly.
that you're trying to avoid.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. My
Yes.
kids now, they're like, they know that mom's phone is off at 8. So if they need me, they're
Yeah.
going to get in touch with me before.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, at least cuz as children, sometimes we have to remind our parents, make sure you tell us what you're doing with your phone because we can get a little bit concerned when we don't hear from you.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's great. That's great. Okay, a couple more. The next person said, sometimes I don't really know what people say. I just laugh so they can go away. I'm afraid that's me. I don't know if it sounds safe,
Yeah,
but
I, I think sometimes, yeah, you go to a party and somebody says something to you and you just laugh. That happens to me.
yes, like
Yeah,
sometimes you just can't bother. So you're
yeah.
just like, oh,
At least you're laughing and making them feel good, like they've been heard. And
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that one
Sometimes you
sounds
have to
safe to
fake
me.
it till you make it. Sometimes you have to fake it till you make it.
Yes.
Sometimes, yeah,
There you go. And like you said, at least you're being pleasant. You have some people that aren't so pleasant, and that other person leaves kind of feeling like maybe they did something. So we
right,
can look at it that way as well. One more.
yeah.
The person said, people with a mild response to your joyful news should not be the first people that you call.
Hmm. People with a mild response to your good news. How
So
would I?
I'm thinking that they're saying, let's say Oprah just called you to be on her show
Yeah,
and you call me and you're like, oh my gosh, Ash, Oprah just called. And I'm like, oh, I mean, are you sure it's going to go through? Like, you sure
yeah,
she wanted you? Maybe it was a mistake.
yeah.
I probably shouldn't be the first person that you called. Whereas if you call your husband or your kids, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's so,
Yeah,
you want that reaction. You know, you
yeah.
may love me, but
I
that
agree.
reaction just put you in a funk, you
Yeah,
know?
agree. That would make me feel very insecure. Like, what? Wait a minute. What
Yeah.
happened? So, yeah, I would say you pick and choose who you tell your good news to.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure. And I think that I also think what they might be saying is that's indicative of moving forward what you should probably share with that person. Because I'm thinking that wouldn't be the first time they did it. So maybe it would come as like a, oh, I thought you'd be happier for me. And then you get that response, and it's like, okay, now that you know that, now that's incumbent upon you to know in the future, probably don't call that person first or
yeah,
at all, maybe.
yeah. I always call the one that my friend that I know is just going to celebrate with me. You want those people
Yes.
around you.
Of
Yeah.
course. Of course. Okay. See, that was fun, not
Well,
scary.
I love that. Yeah, well,
People always get scared sometimes with the name, but just some good fun.
perfect.
But now it's time for us to talk the real things. So, you were born and raised in Jamaica, and you've been a certified yoga teacher and holistic wellness expert for over 30 years, which is so amazing. And you pioneered one of Jamaica's most influential yoga and fitness movements, which I think really helped shift the culture and like even the understanding of movement. I
Mm,
think yoga and just mindfulness is something newer. I won't say new because obviously you've been doing it for 30 years, and
yes.
I think that it's so great that persons like you are establishing this as something that's also a part of our culture, because the reality is we all want to live longer, no matter what socioeconomic background you're from, no matter where you live, whether you live in Jamaica or in the diaspora. We love our culture, but there are things that we intake, whether it's the music or the type of food or the stress or just different things that are preventing us from aging gracefully, maybe, or even having the privilege to age at all. Because I think even as women, aging is something that is kind of used in a negative way, like, oh, you're getting older. And to me, it's a privilege,
Yeah,
because the opposite of that is not being here. And I would rather be here. But
exactly.
if I'm going to be here, I'd rather be looking and feeling my best. So I would love for us to start with something foundational and go back to little Sharon and
Mhm.
think of when maybe you weren't thinking about yoga or anything back then, but maybe as a child or in your teenage years, when you discovered like health and wellness and maybe what it did for you, even from back then.
Yeah, it's been a long journey. I think there was something inside of me way back when. I mean, I grew
Yeah.
up in the middle of Jamaica in St.
Mhm.
Catherine.
Oh,
There's
okay.
no plantation, literally.
Yeah.
Electricity, no phones, no nothing.
Wow.
And everybody always teases me like, you don't know any card games, you don't know anything like to sit inside and do, because I was always outside in the garden.
Oh.
From a young age, I had my own little organic garden. I had my
Mhm.
flowers. I had my imaginary pets. I had real pets.
I
I
love
was
that.
constantly in nature doing something with food, doing something with, beauty and spa treatments, even as a teenager.
Yeah.
And I discovered yoga. I got very lucky to discover yoga at the age of 14 when I went away to boarding school and I was
Okay.
super, super homesick.
Yeah.
One of the day students invited me home. I went to her house for the weekend and her mom took me to my first yoga class.
Oh,
And I just
wow.
remember having been grown up Roman Catholic and very strict Roman Catholic,
Yeah.
to have this experience, to do this practice, and then to go into Shavasana, which is a meditation that you do with a deep relaxation and meditation you do at the very end, and to sort of
Mhm.
feel like, wow, God is in me, not something up here in heaven or down there in hell. Like God is within me. And I really
Hmm.
felt this opening in my heart at 14.
Wow.
And
It's amazing.
I started my yoga journey. The very next weekend, I went back to my friend's house. We went to we would always go thrifting to all the vintage stores and all the garage sales. And I found a yoga book
Yeah.
that spoke about the philosophy of yoga. So this tiny little paperback book. And I read that cover to cover and really started my journey then. And of course,
Oh,
that was up
wow.
and down, still being in high school and in college. But when I was my last year of college is when I really, really was like, this is my path,
Hmm.
thing I want to do. And I didn't really commit to it until 7 years later.
Wow. Oh
So
my
it's always
goodness.
been for me in a way.
Yeah.
But at the age of 30, I decided to trade in my Ann Taylor suits and my briefcase for my very corporate job that
Ah.
I was doing so well at.
Hmm.
But I just decided, like, my path is there's something more for me. I need to be, I just felt like there was this mission that I was on, but I didn't quite know what it was.
Hmm.
So when I went to do my yoga teacher training in 1995, I really said to myself, I'm just doing this for my own practice, my own benefit.
Yeah.
I remember on the day of the graduation, just sitting out on this beautiful mountain top. This yoga center became certified was in Massachusetts.
Hmm.
Sitting out, looking out at the view, and I just heard this voice so loud in my head
Yeah.
that you have to bring yoga to Jamaica. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, who is talking? Like, really? I'm serious. Like this huge, resounding voice.
Yeah. Wow.
And I just kind of looked at myself and I packed my bags and I moved back. At the time, I was living in Miami. Packed my bags and moved back to Jamaica and started teaching yoga back at home on the sugar plantation for anybody that would come. So for 1 year, my first yoga students were people that worked in the factory, people that worked in the offices, people that worked in the cane fields. And this was so new.
Yeah.
But it was something to do. And they came out in droves. I was, so young and I'm looking around and I had like 30 people practicing yoga 3 times a week for free. So that is really how it all started.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I was not expecting that. I definitely wasn't expecting 14, but it just shows you when you have a purpose,
Yeah.
it you can start it at any age. You know what I mean? And I think the fact that you did try the corporate world, but then realized it wasn't for you, I think that's great because you can live your life knowing that you tried something else and
Yes.
that this was really your path.
We recommend to people quit your day job and go
Right.
become a yoga teacher. And it was a journey, but I look
Right,
back and
right.
I would not regret one thing that I did.
I love that. And being that you have practiced and taught yoga for, as you said, over 3 decades, what was it about the practice in and of itself that really spoke to you deeply?
So the word yoga means union, to yoke or to
Oh,
unite.
okay. I
And
didn't know that.
there's this thing that happens when you're practicing with other people,
Mm-hmm.
practicing with an intention. So you always set an intention before class
Mm-hmm.
where you are moving through the asanas, as we call them, the postures. And
Okay.
these postures were developed 6,000 years ago by the ancient sages and seekers. And each posture works on 3 different ways. It works on your physical body, works on your emotional body, and your energetic body. So when you're practicing with intention, working through those asanas, you're adding your breath, you become in union. All of a sudden, there's this feeling like, wow, my body, my
Mm.
mind, and my emotions all feel connected. Most of us
Ah.
are always disconnected. Your mind is over here, your body is over here. Maybe your spiritual self you attend to on a Sunday morning, maybe.
Right, right.
It's very rare where we have that synergy of all three coming together.
So
And when
true.
you're in that flow state, you're just
Mhm.
another human. And so in 1995, Jamaica was going through so much politically. It always is, right? There's always something going on. And I just felt like this could be an antidote to that.
Mm.
I come home and start to share this message. And of course, it was way ahead of its time. They're like yogurt,
I
yoga,
can't.
what, or I got the opposite, like, because we're a very Christian society. I got the opposite,
Right.
like devil business. And,
Oh, got you. Okay.
I had to work through a lot of education
Yeah. Culturally. Yeah.
that yoga is not a religion,
Right, right.
science actually of health and happiness. That's how I
Mm.
define yoga. If you practice yoga,
Mhm.
you'll be more healthy and you'll definitely be more happy. Because when
Mm.
you're in that flow state, things are better.
Yeah.
You're connected. You have intuition that's coming through or divine downloads. Or your heart is more open, so they're just
Yeah.
incredible benefits.
I love that. I love that. And speaking of our culture and trying to integrate something new, how would you say, well, you can elaborate a little bit more on that if you'd like, but I'd also like to know how your Jamaican upbringing informed like your earliest encounters with breath and body awareness or even just holistic well-being because as you mentioned, it's not something especially 30 years ago that I'm
Yeah.
sure anyone in Jamaica was like, "Oh, this sounds great."
I was so brave. I look back, look back, like, what was I thinking? When I opened my studio in 2000,
Yeah.
I nearly quit so many times because
Oh my
there was such just a handful of people who are like interested in yoga, a real
God.
handful.
Yeah.
I did my best. I brought in all the most incredible teachers. I brought my teacher. I had events. I had retreats. So many things. And what I found out was that the people who were interested in yoga were also interested in fitness and wellness. And
Ah,
even
okay.
back then, that was still a handful of people. You always had
Mm.
your runners, you always had your cyclists, but very few people that were interested in yoga and wellness. And, so many things. Yesterday I want to jump around a little bit. Yesterday I
Yeah,
went to
sure.
the opening party of a new yoga studio here.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely gorgeous. And I'm teaching there, which is so nice to be able to teach in a studio that I don't own. So I'm
Yeah,
sure
I'm
I can teach.
sure.
And it was so wonderful to see so many young people.
Yeah.
A lot of them came through my studio because every summer, every Christmas, every Easter, I would have yoga daycare, right? I would have yoga camps, summer camps.
Oh, so
All these kids,
cool.
and all these kids are 30 years later. They're all grown up.
Yeah.
They're now into wellness. So they were all at this party. Hi, Auntie Sharon. Hi, Auntie Sharon.
Yeah.
So it was really my whole thing there was just education, planting the seeds, and now I'm seeing all these blooms with all these young people really into wellness.
Yeah.
The thing that was interesting to me yesterday is I remember when I first had my studio, people would arrive in their most broke up clothes, like a big t-shirt, that would look like they went to bed in it,
Yeah.
old tights that look like, with rips in it. And I mean, people would just
So
come. There was
funny.
no sense of fashion or getting dressed up or feeling,
Yeah.
putting importance on this thing. And now everybody is in the fashion world and, they come into class, everybody looks so,
Yeah, with their aloe, I'm
they're
sure. Lululemon.
shoes, and that may sound superficial, but it's just so nice to see that people are really investing in their wellness.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah, I think that's definitely something with our generation and the generations, behind me that
yeah.
it's something that has been made more popular now. So even if it's just that they want to wear the outfit, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's at least getting closer, by them going into the aloe store. Like for example, the one in Beverly Hills, I know they have like a gym there. So,
right.
if you have it on and then maybe you walk in the store and somebody's there that can talk to you about yoga, that's you getting a little bit closer to the actual practice, even if your intention was just to get like a cute outfit, you
Yeah,
know? So,
exactly.
yeah, I
So
love that.
I teach yoga at this studio. So on Saturday, I was teaching, and I was doing a lot of work with the hips.
Ah, okay.
They say the hips don't lie. So the hips are like
I love that.
the dumping ground in the body, things that we don't want to deal with, emotions that we can't process,
Hmm.
unfinished business. We kind of tend to store all of that in the hips.
Oh,
So, bringing that kind of wisdom to the class, two
yeah.
came up to me afterwards and they're like, Auntie Sharon, I cried in that class. Like I cried when I got into the hips because, and then one girl told me her dad just passed away.
Oh,
So,
no.
but she was able to let the emotion pass through her. So I think just being able to teach now from a place of wisdom and experience and really seated in the authentic teachings of yoga,
Yeah.
so lovely to be able to impart this to young people now, and they're
I
open
love
and willing
that.
to receive it.
I love that. I love that. And you, as you said, you've been a teacher and a steward to many of these young people, but were there teachers or maybe even experiences that you had that really shaped or reshaped the way that you understand what it means to care for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the saying, the teacher appears when the student is ready. So when I was in my corporate job, I
Hmm.
was also just feeling, I was going through, as most young girls go through, I was going through an eating disorder.
Oh,
And I
wow.
remember feeling so disconnected from my body, soul, mind. And I remember getting on my knees one day and saying, please find me a teacher. I just want to have somebody that's going to guide me.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally was a month later when I met my spiritual teacher at the time. I was 23
Wow.
and I met my guru. So it's the guru disciple relationship is not very popular right now.
Yeah.
But at the time, being able to go to a yoga master and being able to get, advice and direction and so on, I was able to just heal my own limitations and my own body image
That.
issues. And that really changed. And that really gave me so much desire to help women, to love their
Mm.
bodies and to honor their bodies as a temple of the divine. So in
I
order
love
to,
that.
when we would practice a mantra before we started any of our yoga classes, and it would
Mhm.
start by saying, I open my heart to receive the teachings of yoga. I know that my body is not just a body, but a temple of the divine. And so when we
Mm.
start thinking of our body as a temple of the divine, we start treating it differently, right?
Very true. Very true. I
So
love
being
that.
able to have that early mentorship was amazing. And so I love to mentor young people now as they're coming into their yoga. They want more information. They want to go deeper. That's my greatest joy.
Yeah. And I think that you're at a unique place in that, as you just explained, you've gone through things yourself. So
Yeah.
I just think by virtue of that, people are more likely to trust you
Yeah.
because I think that hearing your story or knowing your story, they know that you're able to empathize. You're not just there to make money or just there to pair their business or, just anything superficial like that because you actually went through it yourself, you know?
I've always been so transparent about what I've been through. I mean, menopause was hell for me. I was very transparent and
Yeah.
really tried to help women through menopause. I got a autoimmune condition at the age of 30, and I've had to take
Oh,
very good
wow.
care of myself. So anything that I'm going through, I love to share with everybody because
Yeah.
everybody's going through something. That's one thing,
I
one
love that.
teaching that I have realized in life. As the Buddha said, everybody suffers. And at first I didn't like that
Absolutely.
when I was younger. Everybody suffers. Why are you so stupid? No, the truth is
The
every
truth.
human being is
It's the
suffering
truth.
one degree or the other. So if you can maintain open heartedness and compassion to every human being, the world will be a different place.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think you bring up such a good point because I think when you're a positive person And especially someone like you who practices yoga, people can look at you and judge and say, oh, you've never had any hardships. You just get to do yoga all day. And, just kind of use those uneducated trains of thought to make it seem as though you couldn't possibly know what it's like to have any type of hardships.
Exactly.
And that's why I love what you said and the way that you said it, because it's true. Everyone is dealing with something. There's no comparison to say your life is harder than mine or you had it worse than me, because there's somebody that's looking at what you're going through and going, what? That's nothing. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So I think that's a very, very good thing to keep in mind, that you're never alone. And by
Yeah.
sharing your story, you're helping someone look at you and say, wow, me too. Like someone's going to watch this episode and say, oh my gosh, I thought yoga was just a cute aloe outfit and stretching. I didn't know there was all these nuances to it,
Yeah.
So I really commend you for that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
You're
Sharing is caring.
welcome.
Sharing is
Yes.
yeah.
For sure. And earlier we talked about aging. As I said, I think as women, that's something that I don't know why, but still to this day, it's just like almost used as a negative connotation.
Hmm.
And I think it shouldn't be. I think it's really a blessing to be able to age, but obviously we all want to age gracefully. I know my mom always used to have this joke like, I find these conversations so boring where women just want to talk about what they're ailing with and what they're dealing with rather than like solutions. Like, okay, I have this problem, so this is what I'm doing. And so she used to make me laugh just in the way in which she said it, but I get it now that I'm older. And it's like, you listen and you think like, but what are you trying to do about it? It doesn't seem like there's many conversations about how can I, get rid of this or whatever I have going on through other means if this medicine is not working. Because depending on how you are or what you choose to do, if you're not with the holistic approach, you may have to do that. But I think you just creating a space where women can be aware of alternatives, I think that's really important. And I know that you're a champion of radiant aging, which I absolutely love that phrasing. And you're helping women to age gracefully, not only gracefully, I should say, but vibrantly. So, what does aging with radiance really mean to you?
Great question. So first of all, I always say to women in my programs, today is the youngest you'll ever be. And when you let that land, you're like, today's the youngest.
Yeah.
It's, what are we doing? It's happening so, so fast, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
true.
it's been in the last 5 years for me. So, I feel like I did the whole yoga thing and brought yoga to Jamaica. And then my shift really went into nutrition and I wrote the cookbook. But in the last 5 years, as I've approached, I turned 60 last year. So I'm heading towards 61
Oh,
as I'll ever be.
I love that.
I really felt like called to really understand the science of longevity a little bit more.
Hmm.
And really what I want to impart with women, it's not how can I live to be 100? Can I live to be 90? It's not that. It's how can I make sure that my health span is equal to my lifespan? So
Ah,
what does that mean? You don't know when we're going to die, right? We don't know when the next day, it could be next week, it could be next month, it could be 10 years from now, it could be 30 years from now. I want to make sure that while I'm here on earth,
hmm.
my health span, my health is in an optimal state for my age
I
so
love
that I can continue to be vital. I can have my mental faculties. I can lift my grandchildren up. I can carry the groceries up the stairs. I
Yeah,
can throw my overhead, my travel suitcase into the overhead compartment myself.
there you
Why?
go.
That I don't depend on anybody for anything. I can still be present with the people that I love. I
Hmm.
can still be doing purposeful things in life. I can still travel and have adventures. So we want to make sure that our health span equals our lifespan.
I love
So I got really deep into this longevity science and biohacking science. And I just finished a 10-day online 10-day online longevity reset program, which was incredible. I had 40 women from all
that.
over the globe. And we did 10 days learning about longevity, practicing the diet, practicing the fitness and the yoga, and it was just incredible.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that's one of the things that I'm just loving doing right now is really turning women on to how can I make sure my health span equals my lifespan.
I
So
love that.
yes, the focus is on weight training. So even
Oh, okay.
for me, I'm a
Hmm.
huge proponent of strength training for longevity. In fact, muscle mass
Hmm.
is your currency for aging. So the more muscle that you have, the
Yeah.
less you're going to age. So muscle mass, eating more protein, this was a whole new shift for me. When I
Yeah.
wrote the cookbook, it was a plant-based cookbook. Now
Okay.
my diet has shifted to being extremely protein forward. So I'm teaching women how to eat at least 30 grams of protein per meal, up to
Okay.
100 grams of protein a day. So there's strength training, there's protein, there is sleep, making sure putting priority on sleep. That's when your body
It's a
detoxes.
hard one.
I know it's such a hard one, especially
Yeah.
menopausal women just lose that ability to sleep.
Oh, really?
Practice sleep hygiene. We
Wow.
practice practices how to, this is why I turn my phone off at 8 o'clock at night.
There you
And I
go.
try
Yeah.
to teach, all the
Yeah.
women by the end of the program, they were all turning their phone off and loving it.
I'm gonna have to try that out this
Yeah,
week.
you got to
That
try.
sounds amazing.
It really helps with the sleep. It really, really helps. So
Yeah.
we did strength training. We did protein. We did sleep. There is also community. One of the things that keeps us young is staying active in our communities,
Very true.
paying attention to making sure our friendships are solid and that we're interacting with other humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's so much that we can do now about the science of longevity. And the last piece there is self-care. Like we spoke about before at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
learning how to set boundaries for yourself so that you get your self-care in first.
Yes.
So there's a something that I like to teach women about is making sure that every single day you get your hour of power.
Oh, I like that.
So I got that word, that phrase, hour of power. I got that from Tony Robbins years ago. That did not come from me. But
Okay.
in my setting, where your hour of power means 1 hour, preferably in the morning before your day starts, so
Uh-huh.
that you already have a win, where you have at least 30 minutes of exercise,
Mm-hmm.
do your meditation, you have a moment to just breathe afterwards and practice your self-care, whether it's dry brushing in the shower, oil
Yeah.
so you have 1 hour to yourself every day that is just for you.
I love
That's
that.
such a game changer for women when they prioritize, and out of the 24 hours that they're giving, doing,
Yeah.
doing, doing, that they can turn inwards and do something for themselves.
Absolutely. And I think that unfortunately, as I've said several times, that's just something new. You know what I mean? Like, I just think we have just been socialized for several years. I would even venture to say decades to put
Forever.
ourselves last. I saw this video the other day where someone was saying they attended a funeral and they were just so bewildered because all they could talk about at this funeral was how much this woman sacrificed for everyone, how much
Mm,
she did for everyone.
mm,
She was always there for everyone, but nothing about who she was as a person. And
mhm.
the woman that was saying this was just like, yeah, this is just a word of advice. It's okay to help people, but do something for yourself. Because this person died and all people could talk about was how she benefited them.
Right.
And I just think that's just such a woman thing. Maybe it's a Caribbean woman thing. I don't know. But it's really great that we have persons like you that are establishing, hey, it's okay to have boundaries. You're not being rude, you're not being out of order, right? Because there's a way to do things, obviously, and you want to keep your community and you don't want to push people away. But in the same breath, it's like you can't be your best self. You can't be the best friend, the best daughter, the best mother if you're stressed out. If you start your day in panic and the alarm goes off and you're waking up the kids and this one's good, you're not going to be your best. And we understand that everybody doesn't have the ability to have an hour. Maybe you only have 30 minutes that you can do. So do what you can. I don't think you're saying like a strict time when you
Yeah.
say hour of power, but you're just emphasizing take a moment for yourself, even if
Even
it's
five
15
minutes
minutes.
or 5 minutes of meditation where you're coming out of your mind, your thinking center, and dropping into your heart, your feeling center.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
love
there's a
that.
quote that I love by the famous guy Jim Rohn. I don't know if you've Jim Rohn. Have you heard of Jim Rohn?
No, no.
Incredible motivational speaker.
Okay.
And he said, "We used to say, I will take care of you if you take care of me.
Hmm.
Now we say, I will take care of me if you promise to take care of you."
Oh, I love that.
And
That's
I just
beautiful.
love that. That's another quote that I
Mm.
always share with my ladies because, we were, we're born, we're like, oh, caretakers, we take care of the family, we take care of our husbands,
Caretakers.
all that.
Yeah.
We all held our own responsibility for taking care of ourselves,
Yeah.
right? And that
Absolutely.
mirror that to other people. So, the word namaste at the end of a practice,
Hmm.
yoga practice, where you say namaste, it means the
Hmm.
light in me bows to the light in you. But I like to take it one step further and I like to say, the light in me bows to the light in you. And I recognize that your light is exactly the same as my light.
Mm.
My responsibility to keep my light shining bright so I can inspire you to keep your light shining bright also.
I love that.
So,
Beautiful.
the more that we can practice radical love and radical acceptance and radical care for ourselves,
Hmm.
absolute better we are at everything, as you said, being a mother, being a wife, being a daughter, being a sister, being a friend,
Absolutely.
being a businesswoman,
Yes,
right? We are
absolutely.
at our best selves when we're taking good care of ourselves.
I love that. So beautifully said. Okay. And last question before we do our last segment and before my thank you. If you could look back or go back to that 14-year-old Sharon, what would you, or what do you think that she would think about who you are now?
Hmm. I think she'd be very proud.
I think so
I
too.
think she'd be very proud.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too.
Yeah. And she'd be laughing at me like, why did you doubt yourself for so many years? Because, doing something so new in the Caribbean wasn't easy. It
I
wasn't
can imagine.
a walk in the park, and it's still a walk in the park. There were so few mentors and people to guide you along the way. I just kind of had to learn and make a lot of mistakes. So
Yeah,
she'd be proud, and I think she'd be like, next time, just listen to me and continue doing what you do best.
I
Yeah,
love that. Well, the saying, experience teacheth wisdom, and you had a lot of experience. So I think that's why you're so wise in what you do. And I agree. I think she would be very proud.
thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So I'm going to ask you a few fun rapid fire questions, and
Sure.
then I'm going to do my thank you. So, first question is, what is your favorite Jamaican food or
Oh,
meal, I should say?
my favorite Jamaican meal. There are so many of them, but
That's rough,
I
right?
tell you one thing: I'm in love with Bammy.
Me
I just love Bammy,
too.
and it's in my cookbook. I soak my Bammy in homemade coconut milk, and then I
Ooh,
put them in the air fryer and roast them. They're so good.
sounds
And
amazing.
Bammy has an incredible amount of fiber, so it's such a great complex carbohydrate.
Yeah.
And I just love my Bammy. I want everybody to support Bammy.
I love That's so funny. I
Bammy,
love that. I love that. Okay, next question. Sunrise or sunset practice, which feels more grounding to you?
I'm an early morning girl. I love, love, love
Figured you
the
would
sun.
say that.
Yeah.
Okay, what is a what is a morning ritual that you would never skip?
My meditation.
Your
Wake up,
meditation.
meditate, AirPods go in, and I listen. I do my meditation in the morning.
Yeah,
My
love that.
favorite time of the day.
Love that. Love that. Because as you said, your hour of power, right?
That's right.
All
That's right.
right. What is your favorite foundational reggae song? Like I'm talking 70s rock steady,
Oh
that
my,
era.
anything Bob Marley. Oh my God.
Okay.
Anything.
Anything?
And I can give you the lyrics to every single Bob Marley song. Yeah.
Wow.
Love him. And
That's awesome.
Best.
Okay, can't go wrong with that.
Go
Can't
wrong.
go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Okay, couple more. What is one scent that immediately shifts your mood?
Sandalwood.
That's my favorite also, and Santal
Oh,
also.
yes, yes. So
Oh,
the
I love
same year I
that.
became a yoga teacher, I became an aromatherapist and opened an
Okay.
aromatherapy company in Jamaica called Starfish Oils. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh my
And
gosh,
we
I didn't
make,
realize you opened that.
yeah, we
Wow.
made candles and soaps and body oils and massage
Okay.
oils. Yeah, that was so I love scents and I use scents in all my yoga classes.
Got you. Got you. Okay. What would you say are your top, I'll give you top three favorite hotels or resorts in Jamaica?
I love Skylark.
Ah, never been there, but I heard it's
Oh,
lovely.
it's so cool. So
Yeah.
cool. Skylark and Rock House, they're sister hotels in the
I've
grill.
been to Rock House. Yep.
Wow. And I love Tensing Pen, also in the grill.
Oh, I've never been to that one.
Yes, yes. I used to have a lot of retreats there.
Okay. Okay. So are you counting Rock House as one too, or do you want another one? Because it's your
Oh,
top
I'll give you
three.
another one. The most elegant hotel with an
Yeah.
incredible spa
Yeah.
is Half Moon. Brilliant
Listen,
and so cool. I mean, you literally come off the plane, it's 10 minutes away.
I love Half Moon. I was recently there. I took my dad for Father's Day,
Oh, nice.
and we used to go there when I was a child. And so we just had like the best time. And funnily enough, I'm glad you brought it up because I meant to bring it up and it slipped my mind. My dad had never tried yoga before. My dad's very fit. So he's in his 70s, but he's very fit. He works out every single day. He does his rowing, like everything, right? But he's never done yoga, right? Like he's done no, I'm sorry. I'm speaking incorrectly. He's done yoga with my brother, but he's never done Pilates. And I love Pilates, but I
Right,
don't get to do yoga as often.
right.
So I was like, Dad, do you want to take a Pilates class? And he's like, Ash, I don't know about this Pilates thing, because he's not sure of it. And I'm telling him, but Dad, you've done yoga, so you should be fine.
Yeah.
So anyway, needless to say, we did like a private session. They have the little yoga
Yes.
house,
Yes.
and I can't remember our instructor's name, but she was so lovely. She took time with my dad because obviously, different in age. So
Right.
I do Pilates. I was doing everything fast, but she made sure like his neck relaxed. And needless to say, he loved it, right? It was such a beautiful place to practice like yoga, Pilates, or because
Yeah.
of what you said, it's
Yeah.
just
Gorgeous.
beautiful, like the landscape, everything. So yeah, that would be in my top as well for
Yeah.
sure. And last question, do you ever do like retreats?
I had two retreats at Half Moon last year.
Oh my
And
gosh.
but this year, because of
Yeah.
the hurricane, many of the resorts are closed. So my retreat, I'm super excited, is going to be on a small island called Cayo Levantado off the
Oh.
coast of Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic.
Oh
So it's a
wow.
new resort and it's
Yeah.
completely dedicated to wellness. So they have an incredible spa, cold plunges, hot and saunas, which is something I also really am big into is
Yeah.
contrast therapy. They have whale watching and they have their own organic garden on the island. So the food is just fresh and I'm really excited about that. That it's called the Wild
Wow.
Heart Retreat.
Uh-huh.
And it's just about going somewhere and just really just being able to open up your heart and just remember who you truly are. I'm going to practice yoga twice a day. We'll
Yeah.
go on morning walks. We'll go out and go whale watching, which is a big thing there.
Yeah.
Very excited about that.
Oh, that's so cool. And as you bring up the hurricane, I think that all of what we spoke about today and just what you're doing, I I hope that these types of practices were helpful for persons that were affected. In the diaspora, we were affected checking on our loved ones and making sure everyone's okay. But I'm sure living there and seeing the devastation firsthand was very difficult.
Yes.
And also the persons that were dealing with the real devastation. I'm sure a lot of these tools could be helpful and still can be helpful because there's still persons dealing with it.
Yeah, we did so much outreach. The yoga community is so amazing because the minute
Yeah.
that hurricane hit, we did all these food drives, clothing drives, household item drives, and we actually went down into St. Elizabeth and to the challenged areas, and we
Oh, I
continued.
love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I had Naomi Cohen on here and she was
Okay.
telling me, yeah, she was telling me her,
Yeah.
yeah, oh wow, I didn't know that. She's one of your students? Oh
Yes.
my gosh, that's
Always there.
amazing. It's because you said Saint Elizabeth, and
Yeah.
I had Uncle Tommy on here also. He's a really good friend of my dad's. And
Yes.
so I was checking on her family because I knew that, that's where they're from. And she was just telling me all of what's going on and how they're trying to help in their own way to
Yeah.
rebuild and all of that. So I think that's amazing because, like you said, your mind, your body, like that's the first thing that you really want to take care of. And some of the other stuff you can't control,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Exactly. No,
Yeah.
it's been a very challenging time, but we're so resilient,
Yes, we
and
are.
Jamaica
Yes.
is such a popular place. People love it so much. The aid that's come in has been fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, this is the part of the episode where I do my thank you and I always tell people try not to cry, but it's something that I just like to do just to thank my guest for coming on the show. So, I feel like by now and getting to know you, I feel like I need to be calling you Auntie Sharon because I feel like you've
You
been
don't like
around me. You've been around me. I just haven't known in
Yeah.
certain, pockets and things that you've mentioned. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was her. I didn't know. I didn't know. So Auntie Sharon, your work reminds us that wellness isn't just a destination, it's a series of conscious returns, to the breath, to the body, to our cycles of effort and ease. And I think that what you teach is not performative, it's not performance, it's really presence and presence within yourself, as you've talked about throughout this episode. And I just think that in a world that really asks us to do more and be more and do more with less and achieve faster. It's really kind of like a quiet revolution to be self-full, right? And to put yourself first, but not in a selfish way, in a way where you can be of service and be better to others in your life, as we've spoken about. And so I think that what you're asking us to do is to meet ourselves exactly where we are with compassion, with patience, and with curiosity. So, yeah, I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for sharing your wisdom on this episode, your story, and really your expansive care with us today. Your life, to me, is a practice, and it's really a good example and an invitation to others to feel, especially women, to feel welcome to age radiantly. So,
Oh,
yeah, thanks for coming to talk the things with me.
well, thank you. I love talking to things, and I really have enjoyed this. And thank you to your audience for listening in. And I'd love to meet every one of you. Check me out on Instagram at Sharon
Yes.
Feanny, and let's connect there. But beautiful.
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
love that. You're welcome.